Two constitutional amendment bills on Wednesday killed second reading in the House of Representatives. Among the bills was the one to remove the immunity conferred on the vice president, governors and their deputies to curb corruption, eradicate impunity and enhance accountability in public office. Now, this followed 39 constitutional amendment bills that killed second reading in the Green Chamber on Tuesday. Some of the notable proposals that killed second reading on Wednesday include a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to qualify the immunity conferred on the president, remove the immunity conferred on the vice president, governors and their deputies, and enhance accountability in public office. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution to separate the offices of the Attorney General of the Federation, Attorney General of a state, from the offices of the Minister of Justice of the federal government and Commissioner for Justice of the government of a state, among others.
Oh, yeah. So that news was the one that made round out of the House of Rep yesterday, from Nigeria anyway. For those who are not Nigerians who are just meeting this content for the first time, it was one that scaled through one of the 39, I think, that scaled through second reading yesterday, stripping immunity from the vice president, the governors, and their deputy governors. And as you well know, corruption in Nigeria is usually done by especially those in authority. And most of those governors have actually stolen so much, especially during their second term. And because they cannot be probed until after they finish their time in government, they tend to steal a whole lot, especially during their second term. A case in point is Yaya Bello. I always use that as a second one as a case in point, but I will want to read the news as well to give you more context as well, because this is a short news and a brief one anyway, and from another newspaper. But in the meantime, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. We need you to help us amplify this voice of change that we are pushing throughout Nigeria. We want Nigeria to be better, and we need your presence and your support to help us move it. And then make sure that we don't give our lawmakers and our executive, the people in our politicians, the autonomy to dictate. When we send them to do a job, they should do the job the way we want it. That should work for the entire nation, not for themselves alone. And for those who've been following this channel, please, and you've not subscribed yet, do so. Subscribe, like, share, and put your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this immunity bill, because it's going to go through all the rounds and it's going to go to the Senate. And whether or not they accept it in the Senate is another thing entirely. But from all indications, it shows that the governors have started pushing against it because they still want the immunity for themselves. So what I want to show you as well now is from Vanguard talking about the same news, and then we will go back as well and discuss that in more detail. So as you can see, reps move to strip VP governors, deputy governors of immunity. Say on Wednesday, the House of Representatives passed through a second reading a bill seeking to retain immunity for the office of the president and removing immunity from the vice president, the governors, and the deputy governors. The bill is one of the 42 considered and passed through as a second reading stage during a plenary session presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Benjamin Kalu. Sponsored by Rivers lawmaker Solomon Bob, the bill seeks to amend Section 308 of the 99 Constitution to prevent abuse of office and ensure transparency in governance. The proposed legislation's long-time title, a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to qualify the immunity conferred on the president and remove the immunity conferred on the vice president, the governors and their deputies in order to curb corruption, eradicate impunity, and enhance accountability in public office and for related matters. I like it, but I think immunity should be removed from everybody. But I know because of the office of the president is so difficult. If you remember the case of Trump in America, it was so difficult to say he had committed an offense of treason because you have to be able to define what treason really is. And it was difficult for both the Senate and the Rep to actually say he had committed treasonable offenses. They could only impeach him, but they couldn't just say, all right, you've committed treasonable offenses. So we need to do the same thing for all of our political office holders, not just the vice president or the deputy governors and their deputies, but also the president. But this bill, knowing that you would need the president to sign off on it, would say, let's start with this one first of all. So I like the fact that they're chopping and changing in being beat, because you do not suppose that any bill that removes immunity from Tinubu will be signed by Tinubu. It won't. I don't think that man is a Democrat like he proposes to be. All right. So that's what it is at the moment. So please let us know in the comment section what you think so far. My thinking is that it's a good start because this is going to help with this corruption that has surrounded our system for so long. Okay. Now, another thing that I also want to talk about is I wanted to give Nigerians and a lot of people following this channel a breakdown of what is going to happen next. So I thought rather than just explaining it, I'll just read through a particular website. So I went in to go and see, okay, what are the steps that it will take for after it goes past second reading? Second reading, what will be the step before it becomes a law? All right. So I will just quickly start from here. There are 11 stages to a bill becoming to a law, but this is the fifth stage where it gets to second reading. When the bill is debated on the floor of the relevant legislature, in this case is the House of Rep, for a bill to be read a second time, it must have moved by a motion. The legislator moving the motion is expected to highlight the subject matter, objectives, benefits. So what they're saying here in essence is they move it to the second reading. When it gets this second reading, or I say when it goes from the first reading to the second reading, it gets the second reading because people have moved it to get there. When it gets to the second reading, they will also do exactly the same thing, explain what the stage is, what the bill is meant to do, and they explain to everybody and they attest to it and say they support it. And it goes to the next stage after the second reading will be the committee stage. And at this stage, the committee is assigned to deliberate on a bill on a bill, examines it more critically. So what they do in essence is that they get people from the committee and public people as well. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this. Nigerians need to start putting their eyes down on the legislature, not just the executive alone or the judiciary. And I said it before, for Nigeria to be better, we need to look at the legislature. The way we've been coming out for them, they feeling the pinch right now. Before we let them become immune to it as well, let's put more pressure on them. So this committee stage is where the House of Rep assigns certain people to go and form a committee, and then they get people from the public to look at the bill more intensely and decide whether or not it's fit for purpose, make amendment, and after that, after they finish making the amendment, or if they don't make any other amendment, they send the report back again to the seventh stage where it becomes a committee report. So he says after the committee has concluded its work, it will report back to the whole House or the Senate in plenary with or without amendment. The chairperson of the committee is expected via a motion to report progress on the bill. After the report of the committee and the deliberation of the committee and of the whole House, a motion may be moved that the bill be read to the third time, either immediately or at a later date. So this is where the committee, after they've done their work, they've gone public deliberations, and people have consulted and said, all right, yes, we like it the way we did. Made it so much so that Nigerians contribute to, and they take it to the House, they give a report. And after that report is given, they'll do a third reading. And this third reading is where they might then do a final ratification. So it says generally, once the bill has passed the third reading stage, no amendment can be made to it. So they do the third reading. If they make amendment, they do the amendment. If they accept the suggestions that came from the committee stage, they take it and they pass it the third reading. And in the ninth stage, they do a clean copy of the bill. After the bill has scaled through the third reading stage and been passed, a clean printed copy of it, incorporating all amendments, will be produced. So what that literally means is, when you're doing your project work, when you go through several stages with your project supervisor, so I'm just using that to explain some people here, and then they go back and go back, you keep editing and all of this until you get to the final copy that you then submit. That's what it means, a clean bill. All right. So that's the bill they do during the ninth stage. And the 10th stage, when the bill is sent to either a chamber or for concurrence, there are three potential outcomes. The receiving chamber may agree with the provisions of the bill and therefore pass it, and the bill is sent to the clerk of the National Assembly. The receiving chamber may not agree with the bill at all and therefore reject it in its entirety. The chamber may not agree to some parts of the bill. Okay? So these are three things that would happen. All right. If they accept it, it goes to the clerk of the National Assembly. If they don't want it at all, they reject it completely, or they may make amendment to it. Now, the final part of it is where the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in this case, Bola Tinubu, would then say, all right, it's gone through every stages. We put our signature on it and we sign it into law. Where I think Nigerians need to be very wary about is that part where it gets to the Senate. This current Senate is filled with corrupt individuals, past governors who have been criminals, who were in the case before being looked at by EFCC like Akpabio. this current Senate is the one we cannot trust at all. Okay, we cannot trust this current Senate at all. Okay, so Nigerians need to put their eyes and be a very good participant in all of this. Let's call it out. Let's follow this bill till it gets to Tinubu's table to be signed off. Now, the reason for that is this: we want to stop the likes of Yaya Bello. Okay, you see how much Yaya Bello stole or has been alleged to have stolen from the treasury of Kogi State. These are the reasons why, so that people like that can be probed when they're called out immediately. For so long, since 1999, lawmakers have enabled, and the Constitution have enabled governors, political office holders with immunity to steal from the state. By the time they fully realize what has been done, it is too late. They've stolen so much. Monies they would have used for roads and hospitals would have gone. That's why I was reading. That's why I decided to read this today. I decided to talk about this more because of this. We do not want the likes of Yahya Bello happening again to Nigerians or to any state. That's why I'm talking about it. You understand? So, like I said, I like it. It's a good start. We just need to see all the final ratification or amendments that will be made to the bill. And when we see the final copy, or maybe that time when they're doing the committee stage, when they're deliberating about it, then that's the part more Nigerians will need to come in and say, all right, yes. And then put pressure. If it goes through the House of Assembly, House of Representatives, for example, pardon me, we need to put pressure on the Senate because we don't trust it. I don't trust Akpabio's Senate. I don't trust Akpabio's leadership of the Senate or the entire leadership of the Senate. So we need to put our pressure on them to make sure that thing is done and passed so that we can remove this immunity that these governors and deputy governors and vice presidents have actually enjoyed for so long, where they commit crimes, but they cannot be probed until they leave office. And that's exactly what happened with Yahya Bello. And after that, AFCC alleging that with a corruption case of 110 billion, or some reports say 80 billion, others say 110 billion. We don't even know which one is real anymore. That's how much demand. So remember, even Akpabio, during his time as governor of Akwa Ibom, he was also alleged to have committed fraudulent activities like this, totaling up to 1 trillion naira. So these things can be stopped. We don't have to wait until they're out of office. After they must have looted the state so clean, and then they don't have anything to show for their time, and the people still suffer impoverishingly. That's why I'm reading this. So again, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like and share and subscribe. And for those who have not subscribed to us, yes, please do so. Like, share, and put your comment in the comment section. And tell us if you think that this bill will scale through to get to Tinubu's table. Not just the Senate, but from the House of Rep to the Senate, all the way to Tinubu's table. Nigeria needs to get better. We have to get better, and we have to put pressure. So we cannot leave corruption alone and say only the executive. Every arm of government needs to be looked at, whether state or federal. That's my take. I don't know what your take is. So, but let us know in the comment section what you think about this entire bill. As always, subscribe, like, share, comment, and God bless you. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye bye.